SCP-432-VT Object Class Euclid. However, due to the nature of this SCP-432-VT is it considered safe, and staff may interact with the SCP in and outside of experiments, and also may be used as a tactical asset. Name: Lieutenant Blythe. Special containment procedures. Due to the relationship of the SCP and with the SCP Foundation, the SPC is to be giving a containment cell with modest holdings and basic anemones. Anything asked from 432-VT is to be approved by a level 3 or above. He may be allowed to come and go from his cell, but he has to be escorted by 2 members of the security team to ensure the safety of the SPC and for those around him. However, if the SCP is to become compromised and is a danger to staff containment, lethal force is to be advised in the highest threat levels. If this SCP is to be taken alive, he is to be returned to his cell, and a lockdown procedure Alpha Omega is to be enforced. Medical staff are allowed to treat any wounds, and samples may be taken from the SPCs for future experiments. After a 24-hour period has passed and the personality of the SCP has returned to normal, then normal containment procedures may be enforced. If the SCP is killed during the outbreak or any other event, the body and all body parts are to be stored in a Class 5 crate and sealed. The crate, which is continuously watched by 2 members at all time, is to be shipped to the Royal Order of the Hilltop with a written report of the event. Description: 432-VT is a human male with white skin, brown hair, and a mustache, blue eyes, and normally wearing a red uniform of Her Majesty's Service Expendables Division. He is a tough build, standing roughly of 6 foot 1 inches, and has a build equal of a soldier. Under his uniform he has scars which litter his body, normally akin to weapons that are seen in the 800s, circa the Viking period. However, there is one scar that stands out. Above and behind his heart is a mark which has been caused by an unknown weaponry. When asked about this, he only states that it was given to him by her, and refuses to elaborate any further. The SPCP was discovered in 1911 in the service of the organization of the Royal Order of the Hilltop, as a member of His Majesty's Service of the Expendables Division. As the organization's goals are friendly to the SPC Foundation, no action to capture the SPC was taken, and an interview of SCP-432-VT was taken and study with the approval of the Order of the Hilltop. Addendum 3402.02. Due to the timescale of this event, no audio of this interview was taken. As such, I will be highlighting highlights of the interview. A copy of the full document will require Level 4 access to read. SCP-432-VT in interview of his history and a range of anomalous abilities. SCP-432-VT was a Viking warrior and would perform raids with his fellow clansmen. One of these raids lead to area. A level 5 clearance is needed to know more. After torching a nearby forest during a raid, he was approached by her. During the meeting with her, the SCP was cursed and then summarily killed on the spot. The killing blow was only able to keep him down for a moment, as SCP-432-VT was now immortal, and had the ability to regenerate to the state when he was cursed. He also states that he is now tied to the islands and the crown that he damaged, and is now their guardian. As he was disallowed an honourable death per Viking traditions, he was enraged by this and tried to attack nearby settlements and forest. Interestingly, by normal compulsion effects, he was not forbade from doing so, more feeling hollow from the action, providing no satisfaction in forms of revenge or anything. The only actions he would be able to perform would be to his governed role as guardian. As stated by the SCP, after many years of this, he sunk into a deep depression. He stated that mortality was a true curse, and a fate worse than death, until fighting alongside a man he called Blythe, a man with no skill for battle, but would inspire his fellow men into victory. Befriending the man, he fought alongside him until the soldier had died, taking his name, seeking then to inspire those around him. During the 1700s, after many years of service to the Crown, with other trusted members of the royal court, was founded a order to deal with otherworldly activities. Even though he was a founding member of this organization, due to his nature, he was not given a command role inside this organization. However, he was their main tactical asset used in operations against these otherworldly activities. This led to the later development of the Majesty Service of the Expendable Division, a force inside the armed service of the British Army to serve the Crown and Realm to save it from otherworldly activities, seen back then as demonic incursions. SCP-432-VT's most striking ability is his immortality and subsequent regeneration. Experimentation into this seems to have found that the regenerative properties of the SCP only occurs within the confines of the British Isles. See Graphical Area subsection 234 for more information. Its body is reduced to a lifeless state, and it is unable to regenerate until returned to the British Isles. Once it has been returned to the British Isles, plants seem to grow from the bone structure of the SCP and suture any wounds and any parts it is able to find. This period is reduced if the body is whole or if the majority of the body parts are returned to the area in question. As well as the SCP's ability to regenerate and subsequent immortality, he has a above average human physique, which can be characterized as abnormal, able to lift much greater weights than the average person. He is also proficient in the majority of armed combat and various forms of martial arts. Even without any supernatural backing, he is quite dangerous and is to be considered a high threat to any security personnel in the area. He is also skilled in mechanical engineering, most notably aircraft engineering, and is able to a degree, speak in different languages. However, it seems that due to his age and subsequent injuries over the years, he has lost knowledge that he has gained from his past experiences. As such, he was noted to be able to speak Mandarin. However, due to an incident during the Boxer Rebellion, he lost his ability to speak Mandarin and is only able to now speak English. Previous events also depict that he was able to speak other languages. However, subsequent injuries and events due to his regeneration has been able to remove such things from him. Interestingly, it seems that he has lost his native tongue of a Scandinavian origin, and his now native tongue seems to be English, which is the majority spoken language of the British Isles these days. We are unaware of the supernatural effect that causes him to lose his ability to speak other languages, and why he is restricted to English. Further experimentation will need to be looked into this. Researcher 723 signing out.